In this video, we finish up the e-brake on the 1.8 turbo Cruze all-wheel drive conversion. We get our spacers in, and we take it for a little bit of a test rip with the new rear suspension setup. Let's go. Welcome back, boys and girls. If you're new to the channel, I'm Matt. Let's go ahead and button up the last little thing on the all-wheel drive 1.8 turbo Cruze. So I need to bleed the brakes and then finish the emergency brake cable. I went ahead and got one done. I don't want to bore you too much, but if you're following along with this project and trying to replicate this, the stock Cruze brake cable has one of these, I don't even know what it's called, but it's basically a piece with, it's a joiner for where the stops are at. And what I did is I basically opened this up and I trimmed down the all-wheel drive cable, and here that piece is right here. I just used some vice grips to grab a hold of one end, pried it open enough towards where those stops will come out. And here's what those stops look like from the factory. Here's the all-wheel drive disc brake cable. Mocked everything up. I know I'm going to trim this right here, but we're going to need a little extra cable length inside. So I'm going to lop this stop off right here, pull some of the cable out, and then we'll shorten it down over there. Then I just installed this little rubber end here. We may create some sort of collar to lock these two together. So this piece came off of the original cable that we separated, but the meat and potatoes of how we're going to get this to work is I just bought a stop kit from Home Depot. It's a couple bucks. We're just going to use this piece, which will slide right over this rope end, and then we'll measure how long we need this to be, and then we'll crush this with a punch. That will lock it into place. And then one of the last things that I'm going to do is I'm just going to tack a ball at the end with my welder over there, just to make sure this thing can't slip off. So let's toss this in there, which this guy will jam in there just like so. Push our cable down, put our little lock back in. There we go, nice and secure. We'll push that down, make sure we got all the slack out, and just wrap this around. And then I know our cable will just about need to butt up end to end with this other cable with the factory stop right there. Just want to make sure I got all the slack out. We'll cut it right about there. We'll slide this stop a little further back because the factory one is a little longer, so we'll account for that. I got the cable pulled back out of the car. Use a piece of tape to mark where I need to cut it, so I'll cut it right about there. Bada bing, bada boom. Pull this out a little bit. We're just going to eyeball this. The factory stop is about twice as long as this one. So we'll set it right about there, and now we'll secure this by essentially crushing this into this wire rope. So I'm going to take my hammer here and my punch. I don't have a punch, but this will work just fine. Really just need to crush it. Not entirely, but we're just trying to put a dimple in it. There we go. Now we'll do the other side. So now we got this thing nice and punched, and it's not going to go anywhere. Now we can toss this in the car. Well, we'll weld that little ball in the end, just in case. Now I'm going to tack a little ball here. You could probably skip this step. I'm sure it's just fine, but just for safety's sake. There we go. We got a little bit of a weld at the end, just to make sure this thing doesn't back out. And there we go. Everything is back in the car. Just squeezed it together with my vice grips, this little clamp here. Everything's all hooked up. Now, will it work? Let's see. Okay. Huh. As I'm sitting here editing this video, I realized that I completely forgot to record the e-brake working properly. What you just saw there still was too much slack to lock up the e-brake, but I ended up having to shorten the cable probably about another inch to get things to work properly, which is what you're seeing here. I trimmed it down, put this little return spring, put another stop at the end. Got that ball looking a little bit better. It works great. On to the video. I got the e-brake all sorted out. It's working fantastic. Now let's go ahead. I have the battery plugged back up. Let's toss some E85 into the fuel cell. Went to the gas station, Got 5 gallons of E85. We'll flick the switch. For now, I have the stage 1 or the primary pump with inside the surge tank disconnected. So that way we can fill up this fuel cell here, pump fuel to this fuel cell. We'll let that run for a second, and then I'll hook up the stage 1 pumps or the running pumps, whatever you want to call it, the pump that runs constantly with the car, which is just one pump. We'll switch that on, start sending fuel to the rail. Make sure everything's looking good. Toss the tires back on the car and we'll take it for a spin. All right, let's see if we can make the car smell like E85. Okay, before we start, I completely forgot that we're going to need to calibrate the fuel sending unit. To prevent the pumps from turning on, took the fuses out of both of the stage 1 pumps, which includes the pump inside the fuel cell, the running pump inside of the surge tank. So let's dive into the old computer on here. Key on. Don't hear any fuel pumps running, so that's great. Go over to our fuel consumption control here. We now have a 10-gallon fuel cell. Save that change. And we'll take a look at what our voltage is with it empty. So it's giving us 0.095. So toss it in, 0.095 for 0. Then we got to rig up a way to move that float. So we'll take this welding rod here. See if we can't find that damn float. Oh, yeah, if we can just hold it like that, be fantastic. Okay, this thing is reading full, as you can see there. Now we should be able to remove this. You can see it going down. I thought it would be a lot faster than that, but I guess maybe they have some sort of delay in here. You can see it quickly going down to empty. Bingo! Now we can toss some E85 in here and hopefully don't spill it all over the place in the process. Can we do it? Yeah. Drink up. You're gonna live a great life. Serve an awesome purpose. There you go, little fella. Oh yeah, come on. Do your job. I think my gas can might have a prostate problem. This is going really slow. Might want to get that looked at, buddy. Just saying. Not speaking from experience or anything. Alright. I'll get it. Okay, I should be able to plug these fuses back in. Turn the key and should hear this guy run. Okay, let's see. There you go, little buddy. Do your thing. Well, it sounds like a little fan in there. Wonder how this is going to sound. Well, we'll give it a few seconds, and then we'll plug that up. Hopefully, we shouldn't have anything coming out the rail here, so as I've talked about, oh shit, it's not what I wanted to happen, but a little too late now. So we don't have our new fuel injectors in just yet. I was wanting to purge the line and all that, but I mean, it looks like it made it to the fuel rail already, so we'll just go ahead and snug this up. Worst case scenario, these injectors get clogged. Then we'll put the 220s in there, excuse me, the 2200s. Everything's put back together. I have my positive hooked back up to the stage 1 fuel pump. Let's turn the key on here and see if they both come on. That guy's doing its thing. Interesting. Well, aren't I just brilliant? My fuel pumps aren't gonna run without... Oh, son of a bitch! My fuel pumps aren't gonna run without a fuse. Okay, I'm gonna set this camera down. Ugh, don't I feel brilliant? How about now? All right, we got fuel pressure building. You hear things creaking under the car. Fuel leaks? Any fuel leaks? Nope. Fuel leaks. You can definitely hear it purging all that air. There we go. Well, it looks like I'm gonna have to toss a little more fuel in it. All right, let's toss another 5 gallons of corn in it. Because between the surge tank and the fuel system being empty, got rid of most of the 5 gallons we just put in it. Just put enough in there so the fuel gauge is reading again. It's reading empty, even though it's not. Crank up, fella. There you go. Finally got my spacers in all the way from China that are designed for the rear diff. Let's open it up, take a look. Wow! They sent some pictures of these. I meant to post it last video. However, we'll just take a look in person together, shall we? Open and resealed by customs. All right. We're like, this looks fishy. Way to go, customs. Oh, snap, son. Dang. So there we have it. I had them make it out of stainless steel. Looks pretty awesome to me. This is laser engraved here. So here's these nice little pieces. We got some ARP bolts to secure all this stuff down. So I need to find my other package. They only sell you a pack of 5. Got a couple more of these hanging around somewhere. Watch this, boys and girls. Watch this. Like a glove. Now, if I could show it to you one-handed, but I can't. It is the next day. It is the next day. It is the next day, boys and girls. Let's go ahead and pull the Cruze out. I got the wheels on it. Got it off the jack stands. You know, the wheels look pretty good as far as how much the wheels stick out, but it's kind of hard to tell with it sitting in the garage. So I'm going to fire this thing up, pull it out of the garage. We'll do a little bit of a walk around with it out on the street, drive it around a little bit, see how the suspension is working. We'll swap over to the larger injectors. I don't have the exhaust on it at the moment, so it is kind of loud. Doesn't look too shabby. I feel like I need to shove the whole suspension that way, maybe a half an inch. You see how much of an angle we have here with these CV axles, but it's the best we could do. But so far so good with the fuel system. No leaks, nothing crazy going on. Fuel pump's actually not too loud now that the car's running. No leaks. All right, let's take this thing for a little bit of a test spin. See if we don't notice any difference with how the car handles. We do have the different rear springs, shocks, the ZZP setup, so imagine it's going to be different all around. So I'm going to do some zigzags. See if we don't notice any difference with the sway of the car. Make sure a wheel didn't fall off. Also, with changing out the brakes, I want to see how the brakes perform. It does sound like I might need to tighten up one of those shocks back there. A little clunky. And we'll make sure these fuel fuel pumps are, make sure these fuel pumps are turning on with boost. Ride slightly stiffer in the rear in particular. All right, those extra fuel pumps are on. Wow, once those fuel pumps came on, it immediately bumps up the fuel pressure. Still seems to be nice and stable. The handling of the car seems to be more like it's on rails. Hadn't heard this turbo in a while, but this thing is, this turbo makes some pretty cool sounds. Used to driving my turbo 4-cylinder Silverado around, and it doesn't make near as many cool sounds as this one does, obviously. Check out what the deal is with that rear shock. Now that everything's kind of under its own weight, I might just need to snug things up a little bit. We'll get it up to 50, which is the speed limit right here. Kind of zigzag it a little bit. Yeah, no, she still handles great. I mean, she rides like she's on rails, so brakes might need a little more bleeding, or I really need a brake job on the front of this thing, so kind of hard to tell. What we're hitting boost wise there, but we're going at a decent speed. Shimmy this thing back and forth a little bit. Then we'll go and take a peek underneath the car, see what's what. Go back, re-torque everything. Take this at a decent mile per hour. Felt pretty good. And then my favorite part, the roundabout. Let's see how many people we can irritate. I think that's a successful test. Everything's looking great. Still need to swap over the injectors, but you know, there's still a lot I have to do to the front end of this car. Well, let's download this data log. And we'll take a look at all this information together, see what the fuel system upgrade is doing. Okay, I'm seeing a big improvement with this new fuel system. As you can see here, we reached 22.07 PSI, didn't really push the car very hard. Our injector duty cycle is at 72.43, but our fuel pressure is at 92.24, which is kind of high. I mean, it's pretty damn high if you ask me. The O2 correction, it's trying to pull out almost 20% fuel, whereas here's a log from when I went to the track at 22 PSI of boost, even though we reached more than that at the track, but to make things similar and fair, at 22 PSI of boost, you see we only have a 2-point correction, but our target fuel ratio was 0.785, but the closest we could get it was 0.83. To go back to today's log, we're much more on target, so we're getting all the fuel we need, but we only have 78.75 PSI of fuel pressure. And keep in mind, this is the log from the track. Once we start going up in boost, which is this red line here, we're at 25 PSI of boost. It's trying to add 17% because our target's 0.784. We're only able to reach 0.84, which is starting to get a little lean. Fuel pressure is down to 67.55, and our injector duty cycle is at 119%. Now, if we compare apples to apples, you know, this is about where I would limit it, about 85%. With the old fuel system, at about 22 PSI of boost. With today's log, we could go about another 12%, 12 or 13% before we start getting above 85%, in which the ejectors effectively are just full on open. But we're hitting our target lambda or air fuel ratio. So I'd say that's a win on the fuel system. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Well, that's about all I have. Well, that's about all I have for this video. We got the car fired back up. I'm gonna turn it around. I need to clean the garage up. There's a bunch of crap that's underneath the car. So fuel system's working great. Suspension is working great. I am gonna pull the wheels and tires back off the car, go back, torque everything. Then we'll turn the car around. I currently have something in the works for the engine. You might guess what it is. It's something I need to hold the power. I think we might be at the limit of one of the components here and it's starting to wear out. Let me know what you think that is down in the comments. And that's it for now. I'm pretty happy with the way things are going. And we'll get this transmission in there along with that transfer case that's sitting over there. Just need to wait for that one part because I was like, you know, while I'm in there, I might as well do this because I would hate to have to pull everything back apart. This is gonna take some time anyways, but I don't wanna have to redo things. Anyways, I appreciate you tuning in. Be sure to give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Even if you're just a casual watcher, be sure to subscribe. And we'll see you in the next one. Peace out.
Peace out.